What's happening, everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back. Well, up until recently, if you wanted a really good robot vacuum, a robot vacuum that has a lot of suction power, a robot vacuum that does mopping really well, that has obstacle avoidance, that has a LiDAR navigation system and all that, you had to spend a lot of money, because typically when you want a vacuum that does it all, well, you do have to spend more money because you're looking at a top level robot vacuum. Well, that is about to change with this new model that I'm showing you today. So what we have here today, it's called the Ecovacs N30 OMNI. So even though this is not as expensive as all the other ones available on the market, it has pretty much all the features that we get on a more expensive robot vacuum. So in today's video, we're gonna figure out if this is worth its price. As always, there will be some links in the video's description so you can check this out. Now, on my desk here, you're only seeing the actual robot vacuum, but in the box, you're also gonna get an all-in-one OMNI station. So that's basically the docking station for the robot vacuum whenever the robot vacuum is not going on a cleaning cycle. So first we are gonna start by checking out that all-in-one station. So at the top there we have two water tanks. One water tank for clean water, you're gonna have to fill that up with clean water, and one water tank for dirty water. So what happens every time the robot vacuum goes back to the all-in-one station, we'll wash these mop pads throughout the cleaning cycle or whenever it's done a cleaning cycle. So all that dirty water from the mops will go into that dirty water tank. If you check the water in that dirty water tank, you will be surprised how dirty that water gets. And I have vacuums going around the house constantly, and that water is still pretty dirty. So basically the robot vacuum will wash these mops throughout the cleaning cycle. You can actually choose from the Ecovacs app how often that should happen. Whenever it's done a cleaning cycle, it will also dry these. So this all-in-one station can dry those with 40 degrees hot air. So there will be no mold on these, they're not gonna smell bad because they will get dry every time the robot vacuum is done a cleaning cycle. The all-in-one station also has a dust bag inside it, so every so often or whenever this is done a cleaning cycle, it will go back and empty itself out. So the dust bin inside the robot vacuum is actually sitting right here at the top. This can also be removed, and the dust filter is right here, but basically the robot vacuum will go back to that all-in-one station and empty itself out. So you don't really have to do anything, you just have to remove that dirty water every so often. The robot vacuum will do everything by itself. The all-in-one station also has a detachable base, so every so often you will remove that and wash it so you don't get stuff stuck at the bottom there, because well, you don't want all that dirt to be in there. And that's not all. If you do remove the two water tanks at the top of the all-in-one station, the all-in-one station can also take a solid floor cleaner. So this is basically cleaning liquid concentrated into a solid form. So whenever the robot vacuum goes back to the all-in-one station to wash those mop pads, basically the clean water goes through that cleaning agent compartment and it mixes with that cleaning agent. Therefore, the mops will be cleaner on the robot vacuum, and whenever the robot vacuum goes back out to mop, the mops will be cleaner. Therefore, your floors will be cleaner. Now, that has to be purchased separately, and that lasts for about a month. So after a month, of course, you're gonna have to add another one of those solid floor cleaners. So this is a feature that you don't typically see on these cheaper robot vacuums, I'm gonna say. Next, we are talking about suction power, and you'd think that since this robot vacuum is not that expensive, it's not gonna have as much suction power. Well, you'd be wrong. So this robot vacuum has an insane suction power of 10,000 pascals. So it doesn't matter what kind of surface it goes over, if it's a carpet or if it's a hard floor, it basically picks up anything from the floor because it has an insane amount of suction power. Now, from the Ecovacs app, you can also set the suction power. So if you're at home, for example, and you don't want the vacuum to make that much noise, you can just lower the suction power from the app. The same goes for the mops. So if you don't want the mops to be as wet, you can adjust how wet the mops are from the app. Talking about mops and carpet. So these mops can also lift themselves up. So whenever the robot vacuum reaches a carpet, let's say that you have a variety of carpets, hard floors throughout the house. So you're gonna have the vacuum mop and vacuum, of course. So whenever the vacuum reaches a carpet, it will actually lift those mops so the mops don't get the carpet wet. Whenever it's off the carpet, it will sense that and it will put this back down. So just in case you're wondering, yes, the robot vacuum can actually lift those mops. Another feature this vacuum has, and a feature that I really like that you don't typically see for cheaper robot vacuums, is the Zero Tangle 2.0 anti-tangle technology. So basically the brush that we get at the bottom of the vacuum here will not catch any hair on it. This is how the brush actually looks after using the robot vacuum for about a week. So of course there is a lot of dust on this, but there is really no hair on it. I think I see one hair on the side here. I'll add some B-roll with a close-up of this, but basically there is no hair to clean after the vacuum is done a cleaning cycle. With a lot of robot vacuums, you typically have to clean this brush every 2 or 3 days. Mostly if you have someone at home that has long hair, well, that's not the case with this one. So when you combine that with the crazy suction power, basically everything just goes straight in the robot vacuum. It doesn't get caught on this brush. So carpets, hard floors, everything will basically be cleaned after the vacuum goes over an area once. Next, we are moving on to another feature that I haven't actually seen on any other affordable robot vacuums available on the market. So this is called True Edge Adaptive Edge Mopping. So what happens here, one of the mop pads is able to extend out of the robot vacuum. This is a feature that we've seen on more expensive Ecovacs robot vacuums, but I've never seen a feature like this for an affordable robot vacuum like this one. So whenever this one goes on a cleaning cycle, it basically gets the mop pad right at the edge of the wall. Something that doesn't typically happen with most robot vacuums. You typically get about this much space between the robot vacuum and the wall that never gets cleaned. And eventually you do have to clean that, because if the vacuum cleans like that for a couple of months, you will notice that edge around the wall that does get darker over time. Well, that is not the case with this one, because this robot vacuum can actually get right close to the edge. The same goes if it goes around chairs throughout the house. So the mop that extends pretty much gets everywhere. And of course, that's not all. As you've probably noticed by now, at the top of the vacuum here, we have the LiDAR navigation system. So basically, when the vacuum goes out in your house for the first time, it will map out your entire house. So this vacuum knows exactly where it went, it knows exactly where it has to go, it knows how to go back to the docking station. If it runs out of power, it can go back and recharge. Whenever it has to go and wash the mop pads, it knows how to do all that by itself, because we have a LiDAR navigation system and sensors right here on the front. Because the vacuum also has obstacle avoidance. So if you leave some stuff on the floor, the vacuum will actually go around it. So typically with cheaper robot vacuums, some of them don't actually get a LiDAR navigation system. Most of them don't get obstacle avoidance. So this one has a LiDAR navigation system and obstacle avoidance on top of that. So it's not gonna miss any spots. It's not gonna run over objects in your house. So a very smart vacuum, considering how cheap this is actually priced. As for battery life, inside this robot vacuum we have a 50 to 100 milliamp hour battery, and according to manufacturer this can run for about 320 minutes if you're using it in the vacuum only mode and the quiet mode. Now personally I never use it in the quiet mode. I always use it at the maximum suction power, because why not? And it takes the vacuum about an hour and 10 minutes to finish a cleaning cycle at my house. So it never actually runs out of power at my place. But if it does run out of power throughout the cleaning cycle, it will basically go back to the AllinOne Station, it will recharge, and then it will finish whatever cleaning cycle he's doing. Everything can also be changed from the Ecovacs app. So if you want to set a schedule, if you want to send a vacuum to a spot in your house, you can just draw on the map a little spot and the vacuum will just clean that. If you just need one room cleaned, you can just do that. If you want the whole house, whenever you leave home, you can just press one button and the robot vacuum will do it. So everything is very customizable from the Ecovacs app as well. Also, another thing that I haven't seen before, now this robot vacuum actually gets widgets for iOS. So you actually have a little widget here. So if I press start, it will go on a cleaning cycle. Obviously it's on the desk here, but let's press start and see what happens. So So it's going on a cleaning cycle. We are gonna pause that. We definitely don't want the robot vacuum to clean while I'm recording, but I haven't seen widgets before for any other Ecovacs robot vac. Maybe they were, but I haven't actually noticed it, but now I did notice it with this one. So another cool feature, so you can access the robot vacuum easier from your phone. You just swipe to the left there and you can start a cleaning cycle from basically wherever you are in the world. And if you don't want to use your phone or your watch to start a cleaning cycle, there is also a foot touch control. So the robot vacuum goes on a cleaning cycle just by touching it with your foot. Personally, I think I'm always going to use the phone, but that option is also there. So for the price, this vacuum, the N30, does offer some insane value. The mopping that you're going to get from this is better than pretty much all the other robot vacuums priced the same as this one. The suction power is crazy, so a lot of suction power. Plus, I love the fact that I don't have to clean this brush every couple of days of hair. That's also a big bonus, because with a lot of vacuums, you typically have to clean that constantly, or it gets so much hair on it that it doesn't pick up anything from the floor. But that's not gonna be the case with this one. So pretty impressive what they were able to achieve at such a low price with the N30 here. As always, there will be some links in the video's description so you can check this out. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer whatever questions you may have. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.